The post-season testing session at the 5.281-kilometer Yas Marina Circuit on Yas Island in Abu Dhabi marks Formula One's final day on track in 2024. Beyond giving young drivers the opportunity to hit the track and gain some experience, this test provides teams and Pirelli with an excellent opportunity to gather valuable data and insights on next season's Pirelli tires. While one car is dedicated to rookies or drivers primarily working in simulators during the season using 2024 tires, the other car is already fitted with 2025 tires. For teams, this is a great chance to collect crucial data on next year's tires, which include a wider range of compounds beyond those tested a few weeks ago in Mexico. In Mexico City, teams participated in a session during the second free practice session exclusively focused on data collection for Pirelli, testing a single compound type in its 2024 and 2025 versions. For example, some teams were restricted to the C4 compound in both versions for comparison, while others tested C3, C5, or C6. Additionally, as per Pirelli's request, no setup changes were allowed that could skew the data. While this made the insights important, they were also limited. Moreover, the compounds tested during that session were not yet the homologated versions for the following year. In contrast, in Abu Dhabi, teams had greater freedom in using the tires. They were not limited to a single compound, but had access to a broader range of options. Teams had 5 different compounds, from C2 to C6, with the latter being the new addition for 2025. However, teams had limited sets of C2 and C6 tires since these compounds were not particularly suitable for this track. The former is too hard and struggles to provide adequate grip, while the latter is too soft and cannot last a full lap, as seen in Mexico City. Nonetheless, the Italian manufacturer wanted to give teams the opportunity to gather some data and avoid starting the 2025 tests without any reference points. Simone Barra, Pirelli's F1 chief engineer, stated that the company aimed to provide teams with the opportunity to run and gather data on the C2 and C6 compounds. However, he indicated that teams were expected to focus more on the C3, considered the baseline compound, as well as the C4 and C5. In a Formula One season that, as shown this year, has been highly dependent on teams' ability to optimize tire usage for both single laps and race stints, these tests offer a valuable opportunity to improve predictive models and gather new data for simulators during the winter break. Beyond changes to the compounds themselves, Pirelli has also modified the tire structures to handle the loads of the 2025 cars, making every piece of data essential for preparing for the upcoming season. Simone Barra emphasized the importance of the tests, noting that they provide teams with their first opportunity to use the new homologated tires. He explained that this also marks the initial chance to collect data, which will be analyzed to refine simulations and models for the following year's car. For Pirelli, too, this test day is an excellent chance to gain a clearer understanding of the potential tire performance for next year. During the season, the Italian manufacturer conducted several test sessions with teams and trialed different compounds and constructions. To give an idea, during the Suzuka test after the Japanese GP, 12 different tires were tested. Therefore, beyond the references obtained in the latter part of the season and during the practice session in Mexico, the post-season Abu Dhabi session also represents a great opportunity for Pirelli to have a clearer picture of performance differences across compounds for single laps. Simone Barra highlighted the significance of the test, noting that despite conducting tests throughout the season and experimenting with various constructions and compounds, there had been limited opportunities to thoroughly evaluate performance differences in lap times between the different compounds. This is particularly significant for the softer compounds, as Pirelli may consider skipping compounds in specific situations, a concept that has never been fully abandoned. Pirelli's F1 chief engineer pointed out that while they had gathered extensive information, it had not been collected using homologated tires on a single track with multiple cars. He explained that this test provided the first opportunity to obtain references with at least 5 of the 6 compounds in the full range. The Italian manager noted that understanding the performance delta would be valuable, as internal data collection was supplemented by the additional insights gained from on-track testing with 10 teams. The 2024 Formula One season therefore concluded yesterday with post-season testing at the 5.281-kilometer Yas Marina Circuit on Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, where teams and drivers had a final opportunity to test the 2025 tires before the winter tests scheduled for February. Pirelli, in turn, was able to gather the latest data on its range of tires to be provided to the Formula One teams. Based on the information collected, everything seems to be heading in the right direction with one small question mark. Mario Isola, head of Pirelli's motorsport division, explained that while the track conditions were similar to those on Sunday, testing took place during the day with higher temperatures, leading to slightly more overheating compared to race day or the rest of the weekend. Observations indicated that the overheating levels were comparable, which suggested that under similar conditions, it might actually be reduced. He also noted an improvement in abrasion levels, addressing a key goal for the new compounds, as the 2024 season had seen instances of graining that Pirelli aimed to minimize. During the session, all 5 compounds were tested, with fairly consistent performance gaps between them. The C2 compound was closer to the C3, with approximately half a second separating them. Teams completed uninterrupted runs throughout the day without red flags, enabling a wide range of programs. Pirelli did not impose specific plans, leaving teams to define their own strategies. The collected data will play a critical role in determining compound selections for the 2025 season, particularly for the C6. The C6, designed as the softest compound for specific street circuits, raised concerns during the winter. On tracks where it had been tested, it struggled to maintain performance over an entire lap. While the compound performed well in the initial sectors of the circuit, degradation became significant in the final sector, particularly where traction demands were high. This pattern was observed in Abu Dhabi and echoed in previous tests at Monza and Mexico City. The early idea was to use the C6 in Monaco, Montreal, Singapore, and Las Vegas. Pirelli plans to analyze performance data and compare it with the C5's results from the 2024 Formula One season before making final decisions for 2025. No unexpected issues arose during testing, and everything progressed smoothly. Simone Barra, Pirelli's chief engineer, noted that data from Mexico highlighted the C6's inability to last an entire lap on certain circuits. A similar trend was seen in Monza, where the compound struggled, particularly in the final sector. In both cases, the C6 did not outperform the C5, with lap times aligning more closely to the latter's performance. These findings underscore the need for further evaluation to optimize compound usage in specific scenarios. Now Pirelli will have a few more weeks to determine where to use the C6, ensuring it does not exhibit the drop-off seen at Monza, Hermanos Rodriguez, and Yas Marina. It will likely become ideal for street circuits with less abrasive surfaces and moderate temperatures compared to those in which it has been tested in recent months.